got most of the basics of how to work Reaper for some basic editing and so on. We've covered some effects in the way of like using EQ to control frequencies and so on. But what we're going to do now is add some things like reverb and delay in the compressors, just to see how that works on Reaper. So what we've got here is I've already inserted a drum track. So if we play this, we can hear the drums, and it's fairly flat. There's no room sound or anything on it. It's just a straight out the machine drum track. And now all we want to do is maybe add some reverb to it to make it sound a bit nicer, a bit more interesting. So what we can do is we can look for something like, see, the standard Reaper reverb, and we can add that. Now we've got that there, and I've got this docked down here. You've got your mixer and all your other bits and bobs here. I think actually what I might do is just no longer have that like that. So we've got the effects open, and we've got the window resized a bit too much. I'm just going to bring that down. And we have the effects there. Right, so we'll add in some reverb, and maybe what I will do is bring this down so we can actually see the full waveform, and add that. So I've added that there, and now what have we got? So we've got two presets in here, and you've got the wet and dry mix. So the dry mix is just the original sound, and the wet mix is basically the affected sound, and you can play about with how much you want to put in. So let's see what this sounds like beforehand. Okay. So it's kind of increased in volume a little bit there. There's probably some gain somewhere. Might be something to do with the levels coming out of this. So there's nothing really happening right now. I can bring that down. And if I want to add this one, it was quite heavy going at first, but it's not too bad now. Bring down the mix a little bit, the dry a little bit more. And that's essentially got your drums sounding like they're in a big room. The next one is Bad Crunch. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not too bad either. Presets actually default. There's nothing here, so we can add. Let me just see. Reverb generator. Let's see. And we've got the start position, the length, the room size, so we can keep increasing this or decreasing it. Actually, the fader doesn't seem to be moving too well on that one. And you get damping, so that's how much it kind of cuts it off in the stereo width. Actually, that one does move. There's some kind of problem. There's some kind of problem with the graphic there, I think. Well, not everyone's perfect. And we can reduce the volume So the room size you increase, so the bigger the room, the bigger the echo is going to be, or the reverb. And then we can do things like we can reverse that. So let's happen if I remove that. Let's see what happens when I play now. Yeah, I don't know if this is my computer or there's definitely something different going on with those effects. Now I thought reverse would maybe be something that would flip the sound, but there's not really much happening when we do that. But got that. So that's a wee bit of reverb that we can add. And adding this to other sounds. Adding this to other sounds, like doors closing and so on, can add ambience to them, or it can change the way the sound is completely. So you can use this to create other types of sound. I'm wondering what other effects I have on here. So you'll just have to bear with me for a second to have a look and see what we've got. We've got vinyl, which kind of makes it sound like a vinyl record, actually. I'll add that one in and see how that works. I've not used that in quite a while. And we can go. Get warped, like a warped record. Yeah. You get this kind of sound of it kind of coming across. Now this would be good if you put it on like a vocal or a dialogue track to make it sound like it's coming from like a record player or whatever. You could use that. So I'll just bring this down again. What else could we add there? I'm sure we had some other weird sound effects I was looking at. We've got audio damage. Let me just see what Fuzz Plus does. It's a lot of distortion in there. Okay, remove that. And then what else have we got here? Rough Rider 2. I think this is a compressor. It looks like it. Okay, remove. And then what else have we got? Some other things like that. I'm sure there was a delay in here. And a delay will just add a second sound, as you can hear. You can play about with that and totally change the way the sound is. We can put stock slap with feedback. Let's see. not too bad. So yeah, just adding wee effects like this, you need to experiment with them. Now I'm using a drum track, but you could use any audio signal that you've captured and see what it sounds like. Yeah, have a play about with those. The other last thing is compression, and what it can do is it tends to kind of it can be used as an effect in some way because you've got these kind of things here. So I'll show you how that's going to work. We're all on. That's good. Okay. So if I start that up again, and then let me drop in you can see the levels have changed here. The sound just changes ever so slightly. Looking for more. Yeah, well, that's a bass track type of thing. More drum. And that's accentuating the snare in it. You can hear the difference there. So if I just bring that back to factory, then basically you've got the amount of compression you've got here. These are the main ones that you're wanting to. So how much is it compressing by? The knee, as I was explained before, is the kind of angle of attack, I suppose, is what it could be, where it comes in either as a curve or it's a straight. It hits instantly. You've got your attack, so how quickly that compression comes on. You can get the compression to release quite quickly or hold on to it for quite a long time. You can put a filter in there as in, like, to filter off like certain frequencies that you don't want or you do want for the effect. And then you've got how much of this you're adding into the mix. And you can mix in some of the original signal as well. I can bring this down. This should be the threshold. So this is at what point it actually kicks in. So if I've got those. Let me just reset this back to the factory before I get all away with myself here. So this is your level coming in, and this is basically whereabouts you want it to start triggering. And if I put the ratio on, you can hear it. It's basically stopping it coming through at all. But we only want it to come up to a certain level to give it a bit more snappiness. And you've got a kind of pop in there. Okay, put a limiter on the output. I'm not 100% sure how that works on this because it's not something I would usually use. But there you go. You've got some pre-compression as well, so before it even starts, it's compressed it. Okay. So there you go, you can try that as well. So yeah, compressors are usually used to kind of make the sound conform more to what you're wanting. Like you could use them to, like, say the drum level's far too loud, but you don't want to so much turn it down in the mix but you want it to just be at the same level as all the vocals and stuff like that, you can use a compressor to keep the overall sound of the drum, but just to compress it a little bit so that it mixes well. But again, for what you're using it for, using compressors and so on, and gates, which are kind of like compressors as well, are all things you can use to make a sound, like for instance a door opening now sound like a machine gun because you've looped it loads of times and added all sorts of effects and a wee bit of reverb and so on. So have a play about with those and see what you can make.